6:30, and we're going to begin the public hearing of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for October the 4th, 2011. And I will turn this over to our City Administrator, Mr. Steve Mayer, who will be running the public hearing.
Good evening, Mayor, Alderman. Ordinance number 2011-21, an ordinance granting a gas franchise to Piedmont Natural Gas Company, Incorporated. If anyone has any comments about this ordinance, please come to the microphone. Again, we have an ordinance granting a gas franchise to Piedmont Natural Gas Company, Incorporated. If anyone has any comments, please come forward. Ma'am, I see no one.
Okay.
Moving on to the second item, ordinance number 2011-22, an ordinance to amend the 2010-2011 fiscal year general fund budget. If anyone has any comments at all, please approach the microphone. Again, we have an ordinance to amend the 2010-2011 fiscal year general fund budget. If anyone has any comments, you're welcome to come to the microphone. Ma'am, on the second ordinance, I see no one approaching. Moving on to the third. Ordinance number 2011-27, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital plan in the fiscal year 2011-2012 water and sewer fund budget to add the Assistant Public Works Director position. If anyone has any comments, please approach the microphone. Again, the third ordinance, 27, is to amend the 5-year capital plan for the water and sewer fund budget to add the Assistant Public Works Director position. Does anyone have any comments? Ma'am, I see no one approaching. That concludes the 3 ordinances for public hearing and the public hearing.
We will call the public hearing closed. We will begin citizens' comments at
Thank you, Mayor and Alderman. I'd like to mention 2 things this evening. One is at a town hall meeting this summer, the mayor mentioned that I'd not initially paid my city taxes on my home when I was annexed into the city. And that was news to me. And a while later, about 2 weeks ago, a reporter asked the same question of me. So I began to check in and find out the situation, as I guess others were. And I found out that somehow the taxes on my home to the city of Laverne had never been charged to anybody, not my mortgage company, which is where in escrow that my insurance and my property taxes had been paid, and they were not, although I received a bill at the house for the lot that I have next to. So I talked with my wife, who I think that if there's ever a person that's more honest than me, it's her. And I have to say that, though, anyhow. But we decided that it was right and just that we figure out how much money those taxes would have cost if we'd have been charged. And so on the 22nd, it would be 2 weeks ago this coming Thursday, I came down and I met with Ms. Rogers, and I wrote 2 checks for a total of $1,203 to the city of Laverne. Now, these couldn't be back taxes because Tennessee Code Annotated says there wasn't any back taxes because how long ago it was, so they had no place to put it in an account, so I put it as a donation. And I just wanted to make that public and we feel that it was the proper thing to do, and I would urge anyone else that gets in the same situation to do the same likewise. But that brings up another point, and I would like to challenge the mayor and the 4 aldermen this evening. This sheet I have in my hand shows the free and reduced lunches, the percentage of children at each school in the county are giving. And I'm just going to talk about the 6 comprehensive high schools right now. Laverne High School has over 51% free and reduced lunches. Smyrna is second at 44%. And, of course, the Murfreesboro schools are on down the line. But it seems that everything's increasing in our lives now except jobs and salaries. And what I would like to do tonight is challenge the mayor and the aldermen, there's 5 of you, to get amongst yourselves and come up and decide to give a scholarship each spring when they have the Academics Awards banquet at Laverne High School. And give it in the name of the Laverne mayor and aldermen to some deserving senior there to help them get to college and help pay the way a little bit for 1 year. And the guidance counselors I know at the high school will be more than happy to help you out. It would be a good public relations thing also. Thank you.
It's 7 o'clock, and we will now begin the meeting for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, October 4th, 2011. We do have a quorum. I will be doing the prayer, and Alderman Green, you will be with the pledge. Can we all stand, please? Dear gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and for the many blessings that you've bestowed on each and every one of us. Please be with us as we make decisions that are for the best interest of this city. Be with each and every one of us and help us through every day. And thank you for the men and women who fight every day for the freedoms that we now enjoy. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Department reports, fire.
Minutes.
Minutes. Thank you. I forget those every time, don't I? All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes for September the 6th, 2011, regular meeting?
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Green. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Alderman Roper. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now you can speak, Rick.
Mayor, Alderman, the month of September 2011, we had a total of 57 calls. Consisted of 3 structure fires, 9 fire alarms, 2 vehicle fires, 1 grass fire, 17 motor vehicle accidents, 9 medical calls, 10 emergency miscellaneous calls, and 6 non-emergency miscellaneous calls. Average response time for the month of September 2011 was 2.8 minutes, and total water consumption for the same month was 567,500 gallons. The reason for that number being drastically over what it normally is that we had about 6 to 8 weeks there of flowing hydrants for the year, for the second half. So we generally just average those out about 2 minutes at 250 gallons a minute, roughly 1,130, 1,150 hydrants. So that's where that water consumption came from.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Police Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Board. For the month of September, the Police Department answered 2,696 calls. 128 of those was accidents, 139 alarms, 110 ambulance calls, 93 motorist assist, 43 domestics, 39 burglaries, 41 thefts, and a total of 106 arrests. 2 DUIs, 56 driver license violations, 13 drug-related offenses, and a total of 955 citations.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you for being with us.
If I may,
Paul.
Chief wanted me to inform you guys that the Officer of the Month and the Civilian of the Month parking spots are now being utilized, and it's Officer Krotz and Dispatcher Wanda Gannon is the employees of the month.
That's awesome. And we'll also, while we're here, our chief has had some serious family illness, and he's having to be with his family at this time. So please, we'd like to ask everybody to continue to remember him and his family in prayer. And thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Okay. And tonight, for the very first time, I'd like to introduce, don't shake your head at me, Dana, the Rescue Squad. So who will now be giving us a monthly report. And we welcome you.
Mayor, Alderman. Sent a lot of information, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. But if you go down to the very last sheet, I think it has September. I'll give you all a second to catch up.
Got it.
I'm watching some of them still scroll. We had 2 medical calls, 24 auto accidents. Water related was 0, fires were 0, searches were 0. We had 60, and we count our standbys at the building as a standby. Business meetings, we had 1. Training sessions, 1. Public relations, 2. Other, 2. Maintenance and fundraising, 5. Total of 97 calls for this month. Total miles was 2,500 miles, and total man hours volunteered is 1,258. Any questions?
And next hand breakfast, do you have one?
November, don't ask me that.
Sorry.
I think it's 17th, 12th.
Okay.
12th. And we'll have a convention in October that about 17 people will be going to for classes and things like that.
All right.
Okay?
Any questions? Thank you. So that was painless, right? Codes Department.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Alderman, for the month of September 2011, the Codes Department issued 3 single-family dwelling permits, 3 commercial permits, 2 miscellaneous permits, 5 sign permits, 2 garage/shed permits, 7 other permits, and 1 mobile home permit. Total number of permits issued for the month was 23. Complaints called in for the month was 83 for tall grass, 8 for junk cars and yards, 7 trash and yards, and 17 other. Impact fees for the month was $55,632 for road, $933 for park, $7,656 for police. Monthly revenue with impact fees was $86,122.48. Total number of single-family permits issued this year to date is 17. Total number of single-family permits issued during the same time period in 2010 was 51. Total number of all permits issued this year to date is 188.
Any questions?
I was down Walden Road today. It seemed like the construction on Walden Road wasn't going on. Is it a reason that they stopped working on Walden Road?
Actually, there is construction going on. There is a bridge crew, which is Brown Builders, which is at the box culvert that is close to Hoover and AAA Storage. There's a crew that's there working. There's also a low jack crew that's a grading crew that is working in between Industrial and Ingram on that side of the road with Arby's and McDonald's. They're working there. There is a water line crew from Low Jack that is working on Bain Drive today, and there was also a Low Jack crew that is working close to the overpass over the railroad. It's a grading crew that was actually working there. So we actually had, I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4 different crews that's working in different spots. I think they had some other people doing miscellaneous things in different locations. But I have had that question asked to me by quite a few residents over the past few weeks and probably months or so. And I think basically what they're looking at is when they're going along the whole length of the road, you don't see somebody constantly as you're going along, but there are people who are working. And also one thing to keep in mind is the water line is not just along Waldron Road. It does go down Bain Drive and goes down Mason Road also. So there may be a crew that may be on that, and sometimes when they can't do other work, they're kind of, working on the schedule as they can go along. Plus they have other jobs that are going on also.
Okay. I just didn't see nobody on the side of the road.
I had the same question. So.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yes,
Kyle, we may have some news about the future of the project.
Yes, basically, they have requested, LoJack has requested, and I think a bunch of residents have been asking, when is it ever going to be complete? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? They have, because we have contracted with the state through this on the water line and the road portion of the project, change orders of that and things like that goes through them, and they have requested a change order through the state. Now, nothing's final yet. It's not been signed by everyone. However, what Alderman Broker, I believe, is talking about is we do have an anticipated completion date of around October now of next year. Now, I know that's, for some people, that seems like a long time, but what we're trying to do, and it's for the businesses down close to Industrial in Ingram, that area there, we understand their concern. We understand that they're having issues with their businesses. We understand that. So we have asked LoJack, and LoJack has agreed, and they feel the same way. They want to get as much done between Industrial and Ingram, or Hal Quake, or whatever you want to call that intersection, as much as possible, get the signals back on loops as opposed to the timing to help with the traffic congestion and things like that. But they at least want to get that and put a lot of focus on that. So that's why our grading crew's basically been there every day for the past couple of weeks to try to get that done, so we can at least, alleviate some of their problems. But I know there's other businesses along the whole route that is going to still feel the effects of, construction going on. However, this change order, like I say, does not really go through this board. It just goes through the state. So that's about as much information I can give at this point until they give a definite, yes, it is October, and they're not getting any more change orders. If they request another change order, I'll let the board know at that time. But I was going to wait till it was more official, but I can still do it right now. And when it becomes official, I'll let the board know that it is for sure, because I think it had October, I'm thinking 12th or something like that. I'm not real sure of next year, but it was one of the days in October.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle. Parks and Recreation.
Mayor, Alderman. First off, before I start the report, let me thank you all for giving me the opportunity to serve Laverne and the community. It's been 5 years since I stood at this podium as the athletic coordinator, and I gotta say, it feels kind of good to be back as the director, so thank you so much. The report numbers are in front of you. Of note, visitors in the park for September, 15,528. I don't think that those numbers are skewed for Old Timers Day because the entrance was off to the side, so those are legitimate numbers of vehicular traffic coming through the park. So for this time of year with football and baseball going on, I think those are really good numbers for this time. Also like to talk about real quick a new senior program that we're going to implement in November. It was brought to our attention that several seniors wanted to get to the supermarkets on Wednesday. And beginning November, the first week and the third week of November, we're going to begin that program. We've got some logistical issues to work through, but that's a program that we think is long overdue and something that we're able to incorporate into our current schedule and employee personnel staffing, whatnot. Lastly, if I may, we had 5 employees from the department completed the ICS 300 training. Got 2 more scheduled to begin the 400 series tomorrow. And again, that's a program that we're proud to be a part of. And if there are any questions of me.
We welcome you.
Thank you.
And see, I told y'all, if you leave, I hunt you down. New ones. We hunted him down and got him back.
You
so.
did, ma'am. You did.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Finance Department.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Aldermen. Tonight's finance report represents the first 2 months of our fiscal year 2011-12. In the general fund, expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $721,000. Local sales tax, we have collected approximately $630,000. That's approximately $63,000 better than prior year, and it's $63,000 better than what we budgeted. State Street Aid, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $99,000. In our stormwater, expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $23,000. And in the water sewer fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $323,000. On the second page is our balances in our bank accounts. And on the third page is a comparison to prior year. With general fund expenses being down approximately $349,000 at this point. And in the water sewer fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $265,000 as compared to prior year. Do we have any questions?
You said stormwater exceeded it. That has a lot to do with the Walden Road project, right?
Stormwater?
Stormwater.
No.
You said that the expenses.
Yes,
exceeded it.
yes. They purchased a piece of equipment.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Library.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Aldermen. September 2011, the library checked out 9,554 items. We had 10,400 patrons visit the library last month with an average per day of 452. And we issued 52 new juvenile cards and 152 new adult cards last month. We ran 55 programs in September with a total attendance of 1,998 and had 3,405 people coming to use our computers last month. And first, I want to thank our patrons for their patience with us yesterday. We had to close the building in the morning. We had a giant crane out in our parking lot to have 2 new HVAC units put on top of our building. That went very well, and again, I want to thank everybody for their patience. That was an unexpected closure, and no complaints so far, so thank you. While I'm thanking anybody, I'd like to thank Mayor Mosley, Alderman Broker, our library fairy, Donna Bebout, and the magical Mr. Jason for taking part in our reading rally 2 weeks ago. Looking at the faces in the audience, they loved you guys. We really appreciate you taking part in our event and helping us make it a special day. Our fall book sale takes place this month on Saturday, October 15th from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. and will be closed on Wednesday, October 12th to prepare for that, among some other housekeeping things. As usual, we have a great variety of material to offer, and all sales are by donation. The time has come to talk about Gross Grub once again. We're still working out the menu, but expect to see some of your favorites. I won't list them now in case anybody with us has a weak stomach, but they are prepared by the staff. They're delicious, but they sound disgusting. So be brave and come hungry, and hope to see everybody there on October 28th at 3. Are there any questions for me?
Thank you. Water treatment plant.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, Mr. Mayor. Is our monthly summary of the month of August 2011 compared to 2010. And our water consumption is basically about the same from year to year there. All of our testings are well within the perimeters. And as far as our chemical used, pretty much we're trying to base that with the water that was given from the lake, but diligently trying to reduce all chemical usage and cost, which reflects in the totals that we approximated, I guess, from our process chemical costs, and it's down about $11,000 from the previous year. Our maintenance for the month of August was right under $8,000 at $7,952, and leaves us with a balance of our maintenance cap for the year of $55,681. Our quality calls for the month, we had 8 calls we answered on pressure calls, 6 calls on taste and odor problems or education. Our rainfall kind of affects the lake water here and there, but we started recording that now with our recorder. And we had a little over 1 3/4 inches with 3 main rain events for the month. Our cross-connection program invoices collected for the month was right at $1,000. Questions?
Any questions? Questions?
Thomas, will you briefly explain about the lake turning over and the minor effects it might have?
We usually see that in probably late spring. It's the stratus of the water, the upper layer actually cools down, the bottom layer will warm up, and we get a turnover, algae blooms, just different odors that come up with it. It leaves a lot of the sulfides from the dead organics on the bottom, a lot of plant life that just deteriorates over time. And that's where we'll try to get some of our, mainly the taste and odors, and we try to combat as much of it as we can in the plant with the oxidization and the carbon that we use. Kind of takes most of the water problems out of it. And some of them will relate into the distribution system, and that's the calls we try to handle with flushing the lines more and keeping the water fresh in the system too.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. All right, Public Works.
Mayor, Alderman, good evening. In the Streets Department in the month of September, we responded to 323 chipper pickup calls. As that program works, our streets fleet is canvassing the neighborhoods throughout the district, and we cross paths with these, but in addition to that, there were 35 special calls, so we saw about 358 calls to streets for chipper pickup this month, or last month. As you can see a few lines down, the workhouse program is very important to us, so we're using inexpensive labor to help us with non-technical jobs that we see, particularly in streets. We saw 66 work orders that were due to strictly streets. This is pothole repair, that kind of thing, in the month of September. In the Fleet Maintenance Department, we saw 21 vehicle repairs. You can see the detail there. Lots of tires and batteries and brakes, as we're primarily responding to keeping enforcement vehicles on the road. Okay. Okay. In the Sewer Department, we responded to 126 work orders, which is trending over the last several months to a couple of years to be our problem area in terms of work order calls. So while on the water side we're seeing a trend down, average monthly calls from 2010 to 2011, I attribute that to us just getting better at buttoning up the issues in the distribution system in combination to the work that Griggs and Maloney is doing for us in helping us pre-plan out some of this stuff. So water department work orders were 86, again trending down year over year. Unfortunately, the sewer department work order calls are trending up and severely. So as we go forward, I'll be bringing to you ideas and thought plans on how we transition away from capital water projects to sewer projects that help us make the same kind of progress that we're seeing in the water area now. Special projects, as you can see, things happen in the collection distribution system that may not be apparent to you, but one of those things is fire hydrant replacement. These things have expiration dates on them just like potato chips. So we've got to go through the system and make sure that we are checking those on an intended basis and replacing them where we find fault. So that's a special project we're seeing out of the water department that started last month. Okay? Bruce, there was a middle page in that. Did that come through? Okay, this is an overtime breakdown. I won't spend too much time on it, but understand that overtime is a mainstay in the way we reactively approach projects in our areas of streets, fleet, sewer, and water. So again, with a collection system that's aging and a distribution system that's fortunately getting better, we see a preponderance of our overtime occurrences in the sewer area. And that's just the way it's going to be until we can attack that with capital interaction going forward. Okay? And again, you can see some detail in here to workhouse calls. That's very important to us, again, very important to us. We want to keep that program going because that provides us lots of extra labor at almost no cost. And our guys, incidentally, are trained to interact with them. They have to go through training courses to make sure that, you know, we are interacting with those folks in a proper manner. Any questions?
I just want to thank y'all for the chipper. I know I've had a couple requests this month, and I appreciate y'all getting on them.
You're welcome. I won't belabor the point, but the monthly number there is 323 chipper calls. Every month in the previous 6, we were about 700 calls on average. So this isn't us doing less work, it's just that we've made that much progress through the summer, and that's when we see a peak in that cycle. We've had a lot of trees fall down or be cut down in winter and spring, so we go out in the summer and we attack it. So that's where the volume of chipper calls is, and we're starting to see that come back down, and we'll pick back up in street repairs so weather goes south in that street crew. So one kind of replaces the other as you go from season to season. All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have some presentations to do quickly. All right. This one's going to be very, very quick. If I could have the Laverne Fire Department come forward, please. This is a certificate of appreciation in recognition of your dedication in helping to put the pieces together and for making a positive difference in the lives of individuals with autism. And they wanted us to present that to you, and thank you for everything. We'll get the Vice Mayor up here. This is a certificate of appreciation in recognition of your dedication in helping to putting the pieces together and for making a positive difference in the lives of individuals with autism. And this is presented to the City of Laverne, and I know you were very active in this, and we thank you.
Thank you.
All right, one more. Police Department will come up, please. This one says the same. This is a certificate of appreciation in recognition of your dedication in helping to put the pieces together and for making a positive difference in the lives of individuals with autism. This is given the Autism Society of Middle Tennessee, and it goes to Laverne Police Department. Now it's time for our Employee of the Month, and I think everyone here will agree to this one totally. The City of Laverne Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Kathy Tyson. Come on up.
Somebody grab the camera. There you go.
Kathy Tyson, for your dedication and hard work on the Old Timers Festival, the city hereby recognizes you as Employee of the Month for October 2011 and thanks you for the excellent work you do for the city of Laverne. Thank you, Kathy.
For the record, I nominated Jerry back there.
And we do have some more presentations, but I'm going to come back and sit down. And I'm going to let Mr. Mayor take the next one.
Oh, man, we have a presentation from Firehouse Subs. We've partnered with them. We went to them and talked to them about some emergency services problems. And Firehouse Subs decided that we deserve some attention. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Mark Watson of Firehouse Subs of Smyrna. Sir?
Mayor, thank you. Let me tell you a little bit about Firehouse Subs. They're founded by two firefighting brothers out of Jacksonville, Florida in 1994. The brothers opened several restaurants, but in 2005, they started a foundation. With that foundation, it was launched in 2005, and the Sorensen Brothers, the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, was created to extend the Firehouse Subs mission to give back to the community from where the founders started in the firehouse. Fourth quarter this year, grant allocations reached a significant company milestone. The Public Safety Foundation recently announced a record 48 approved grant requests valued at over $550,000. With that said, the way this money is raised is in these restaurants every day by our employees, by our community that comes in and they buy our pickle buckets. We give a lot of pickles out with these sandwiches. We sell these pickle buckets for $2 a piece. I can't keep them in the store. We have a list of people wanting to buy them. We also do, in the month of October, our fire safety awareness campaign. We sell these for $1 and $5, and we put the name on them and tack them on the wall. Our goal is to reach $1,000 this month because we're looking to raise that money for the next Laverne, the next Smyrna's, the next town that needs something. So we're raising money 52 weeks out of the year. Our goal is to raise $50 a week when we're not doing our awareness month. We raise that $50 just about every week, and it goes to a great cause. And with that said, we're pleased to present the City of Laverne with a donation of $16,813.97. And from what I understand, that will be used to purchase a Polaris Ranger with accessories, a hitch, pre-runner kit, trailer, landscaping cage. So congratulations, and thank you guys for having us in tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all.
And I just want to say Firehouse Subs has been huge in this community, especially during the floods, our fires. They've put out a lot of food to help a lot of people. And we just want to say thank you for that as well. So go eat some subs. One more very special presentation. I would like to take this time, I'm going to introduce to you some very special ladies. And at this time, I'm going to start with our little Miss Laverne, and that is Natalia Job. If you want to come stand up here, come on up here. You want to turn around and face them and wave? Turn around and face the camera? You stand up there, we'll get the big girls. Unfortunately, our people's choice for the young miss was Michaela Walker. She could not be here. I think they had some ball games to attend, and also her grandfather's been quite sick. So the young Miss Laverne was Maddie Smith. I don't think Maddie was able to attend tonight as well. And young Mr. was Sammy Puleo, and he was unable. People's choice was Alexis Sims. She was unable to attend. And next we have our junior Miss Laverne, who is Miss Jessica Pickle. And last but certainly not least, our very first Miss Laverne, Miss Ashley Alford. We want to thank you ladies for being here, and they have certainly helped out at Old Timers Day, and you'll be seeing all of these ladies they're going to be attending a lot of ceremonies. They've donated their time to come and help, and I think this is what it's all about, and we're very pleased to introduce these beautiful ladies to you. Thank you ladies very much. Let me tell you, that little one kept all the big ones straight too, didn't she, girls? Thank you, ladies, so much. All right, now on to business. We have our old business, which is second reading, ordinance 2011-21, an ordinance granting a gas franchise to Piedmont Natural Gas Company, Incorporated. This is a second reading. If you do have any questions, we will refer those to Mr. Mayor at this time. And I'll let, do we entertain a motion to approve or to deny?
Make a motion to approve. I
have a motion to approve.
Second. Second.
I have a second by Vice Mayor. Y'all have any discussion? If you do, well, please direct your questions to Mr. Mayor. Any discussion? I see no discussion. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
And I recuse myself. Vote carries to pass. We have number 5, which is a second reading, ordinance 2011-22, an ordinance to amend the 2010-2011 fiscal year general fund budget. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve, Alderman Green. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Farmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion carries. Number 6, second reading, ordinance 2011-23, an ordinance to establish a property tax relief program to benefit the elderly, low-income taxpayers, totally and permanently disabled taxpayers, and disabled veteran taxpayers. This is the second reading. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Do I have any questions? I see none. Roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. All right. Number 7, second reading, ordinance 2011-24, an ordinance to amend Title 14, Chapter 3 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding grading, soil erosion, and sedimentation control. A favorable recommendation was made by the Stormwater Appeals and Advisory Board on August the 18th. We've discussed this at extensive length. This is simply bringing ours up to the state level.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 8, second reading, ordinance 2011-25, an ordinance to amend Title 14, Chapter 6 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding stormwater management. A favorable recommendation was made by the Stormwater Appeals and Advisory Board on August 18, 2011. This is the second reading. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Second reading, ordinance 2011-26, an ordinance to amend the Laverne Municipal Code regarding the removal of board and committee members.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Do we have any comments or concerns? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 10, second reading, ordinance 2011-27, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital plan and the fiscal year 2011-2012 water and sewer fund budget to add the Assistant Public Works Director position.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. All in favor?
Ma'am,
Oh, I'm
Discussion.
sorry.
I just want to make sure this is giving us, approving the right to, or the ability to hire, but we are going to defer this hiring until further in the fiscal year?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes. This is simply a vote to put it in this year.
Okay.
This is budgeted for next year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not real comfortable about voting it this year when it's budgeted for next year, but that's my opinion on it. I think we ought to wait till next year, but that's the way I feel about it. If it's for next year's budget, we're gonna vote it for this year. I just don't see the need of voting it not before next year.
And potentially that may happen anyway. The new Public Works Director may come back in a couple months. I think he needs some time to evaluate whether this was the right move or not, so.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So we're really unclear about it. Okay.
Well, we're putting it into effect and let the city administrator and the public works director have the ability to do their job
If they feel that they
if they feel they need it. I mean, I feel comfortable that they know if we have the money and are able to do it at any point or
Just
not.
kind of feel that the financial state of the city, I just feel it might be more appropriate to wait till next year, but, you know, that's my personal opinion.
Okay, any more comments? We'll do a roll call. Alderman Broker?
Aye.
Alderman Waldron?
No.
Vice Mayor?
Aye.
Alderman Green?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Number 11, motion to approve bid for the warning system. And I need to make this clear with the city attorney. Do we need to go back? I think we discussed this at the workshop. First of all, we need to go back and rescind the vote that we took because it was a sole source.
Yes, ma'am. I think depending on what you want to do with this particular item, it sounded like the will of the board might be just to start from scratch on the whole issue, and if that's the will of the board, I think it would probably be appropriate for someone to make a motion to move to reject all bids and rescind any previous purchase orders that may have been authorized by this board previously. Make that all in one motion and pass it if that's the intent of the board. Now, you don't have to do that, obviously. If you want to do something else, you can, but that would be an all-encompassing motion that would basically allow the city to start from scratch in terms of dealing with this issue.
Okay.
I don't know if Bruce wrote down what I said, or did you get to it?
Reject all bids and rescind previous approvals is what I wrote down.
So that's something that,
If that's the way you want to do it.
if that's the will of the board.
Okay. All right, but my question is, what if, I don't know the will of this board. So would that kill it completely?
Can we table it?
You know, or what my question is, we've already taken a vote, but it was for a sole source. So we have to rescind that one anyway,
Correct.
regardless.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
So can we go on and rescind that because it was sole source and we could not go sole source, that's a mouthful, and then step into what this board would want to do to go further?
Sure.
Would that make it easier?
Yes, ma'am. No, you
And that
do it
way
either
we're not killing it, but we're simply cleaning it up, and then they can decide whatever, this board can make a motion of whatever, if it's to move forward with this as the bid, but that'll clear up that back in the
I
back.
don't see any issue with that at all.
From the
Okay.
financial management process, I wish we would separate it into two parts like you're talking about.
Okay, so I will make the motion to, and help me with my verbiage, making sure it is correct, to rescind the bid where we previously voted for a sole source.
Rescind previous approvals.
Yes.
Previous approvals.
I'll second it.
Okay. Now, does everybody know what we're doing? We're rescinding all of that, and then it'll be this board's decision what you're going to do with the next step. But we got to clean that up first. So I had a motion and a second. Do I have any questions on this, what we're doing? I want everybody to be very clear.
But I think all the talk and everything on it, I think I would really like to vote it down instead of rescinding it, just vote it.
Well, you
vote it
have to,
down.
we've already voted to accept it. So now we're having to rescind that vote that we've done. That will be the next motion. Okay, so we're having to clean up the sole source part. So are you clear on that? Clear on that? Okay, we're going to do a roll call vote. If you have any questions, concerns, let it be known. So this vote is to rescind our previous votes, approvals, okay? All right, Alderman Broker?
Aye.
Alderman Walter?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Aye.
Alderman Green?
Aye.
And I vote aye. All right. Now, we're going to move forward with the weather warning system. We can vote to move forward. We can vote to defer, to get more information. It is the will of this board now, because we're open to do whatever.
I'll make a motion to defer till we get more information
Okay?
on the financing and everything else.
Okay?
I'll second it.
Okay, did you get that?
I guess what I want to say about this is, if we're going to defer on this current bid, the $496,000, and then the whatever the financing that we go to, we may be spinning our wheels. We may be getting behind if we're trying to get in. I believe at the workshop we talked about having something in place by the next season. You know, we may want to just, again, if it is the will of this board to scrap it and go to something else, we may want to get that going right now so we can get it up and going. If we defer it, it may be another month or so before we actually approve or deny this one and then start another one if that is the will.
Now, on this, with these bids, are we now, we're open to change, are we not?
Open to, you mean?
Like when he's wanting to defer it, we can come back with something totally different if so choose.
I think the issue might be is that these bids are in response to specific request for proposal, and to the extent you change what the request is, meaning if you only want to do, for instance, what y'all talked about last time about lighting and things at the park, those bids, you would have to change the request for proposal. So, you know, I think it depends on whether you want to kind of wait and see what you want to do in terms of the total system you talked about doing, or if you want to scrap this idea and go to something completely different. If you want to scrap it, then you might want to consider rejecting all these bids and submitting a new request for proposal.
Okay.
That's up to y'all.
That's what I'm confused about the deferral. What are we deferring?
Making a decision, period. And
Till we-
choosing any of the bids that are on your sheet tonight. Am I correct?
As I said at the workshop, it's my wish that we hit areas with a siren system that would be, in my opinion, a priority, the park. And there's other cheaper ways to alert our residents. I believe we can give them the same benefit at a much cheaper cost than this $496,000. It's my wish that we don't scrap it in its entirety, but that we start moving in that direction. I would like to get, again, so we could have it maybe up and ready by the spring.
So, what do we need to do?
Okay, now I have a motion on the floor to defer it. And I have a second on the floor to defer until next month.
Can we?
And at that point, I mean, we've got some different ideas here. Some saying no, some saying change. All that's going to do is, I would say, give everybody an opportunity to say, write down and have it in there, this is what I want, and then we discuss it. I mean, whether it's just going for the first call, if it's going for the code red, if it's going,
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, this motion here is for this current bid, and I believe we were talking about $496,000. We would have to have a second item of discussion if in fact we did vote it down next month to discuss where we want to go from there. So, again, that's, by deferring it, I don't know that we're meeting what we.
I'm a little bit confused. Why are we deferring something that we don't want? I mean, I'm
not ready to
confused
scrap
about the conferring part.
well, we don't have.
I'm not ready to scrap it, so I made a motion to defer it.
Yeah.
We don't have all the paperwork on the
No.
financing, we don't have all of that, yeah.
And
Not all
And
the
this is
people
not what
put in their
everybody wants
financing bids yet.
I like to contain it. Maybe, Vice Mayor, you might want to take back your motion and take back the second, and might entertain a new motion. But that's my
No, I'm
opinion.
not ready to scrap it, so I'm not going to take back my motion. I mean, it's been too much work put into this, and I'm not quitting on it now.
I'm just still confused about deferring something that that we don't want. I mean,
But we
But
don't
it's
know.
what
that we don't want.
you don't want. It's not what I don't want.
nobody knows nothing.
So
We're going to
that's-
defer something we don't know.
Well, that's why we're deferring it, so we can make a good decision. If we vote it down, we have the facts. If we vote for it, we have the facts. That's why you defer it to get the facts.
It gets more confusing.
So-
But that's my opinion, so go ahead.
Okay. I mean, we waited 5 years, one more month in deferment is not gonna kill us, in my opinion. Until we get all of the everything down, what it's gonna cost, the financing,
And
we've got
what
the
we
bottom
want,
line.
And what we need to know what we want for sure. Instead of,
Okay, what we're voting on now is to defer it, plain and simple, to defer it till next month.
Once again, I'm going to just state my feelings on it. I'm not against the system. I'm against not having other options that make it provide the same benefit to the city at a much cheaper cost. I don't want to scrap it in its entirety,
Right,
but at
right.
the same time, we've been through this now for the 5th month, and I think we started talking about it in March, and there's been changes to it every month. So.
Any other comments? Any other comments? Okay. All right, let's go over it one more time. The vote is to defer this item till next month. That's it. All we're doing is deferring. We're not voting for it, we're not voting against it, we're simply deferring it. Alderman Green.
aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
No.
Alderman Broker.
No.
And I'll vote aye to defer it. So the motion to defer does carry until next month. All right. Consent agenda items, we went over these in great length at the workshop. So do I have a motion to approve or to deny the consent agenda items?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have
Sure.
2 seconds.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, number 13. We have one board, that is the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have one spot vacant. I have reviewed the applications. We're very, very fortunate that we've really starting to get some great applications in. I've read over both of them. They're both highly qualified. I think would do us a great service. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick the one that did come in first. And Mr. Pollock, Mr. Craig Pollock did put his application in first. And because they are both highly qualified, I'm going to go with the one that I think that's fair. I'm making the motion to choose the one that did put their application in first. I think he put it in a couple of months, wanted to get on some boards.
Back in March.
Back in March, and he's been trying to get on some boards. So that is my recommendation, or my motion, to choose Mr. Greg Pollock. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, number 14. First reading, ordinance 2011-28, an ordinance to amend the 2010-2011 fiscal year general fund budget.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Do I have any questions?
This is has to do with the police budget, just kind of moving some money around. Am I
Where
right
did
on
Phyllis
this one?
go? Actually, they had to, when the auditors came in, they had to show where exactly these were and what line items, et cetera, and they have to clean that up.
It was an auditor thing. It's just matching
Just
the
kind of
auditor's,
moves
auditor's
stuff around.
recommendations and
Okay.
cleaning it up. No money was created or lost.
Or moved, yes. Okay, do I have a motion?
You've already got a motion.
I've got a motion, do I have a second?
I seconded it.
Okay, good, I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, number 15, this is the first reading, ordinance 2011-29, an ordinance to amend Title VII of the Laverne Municipal Code by adding fireworks regulations.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Do I have any questions? Okay, I have a motion and a second. No questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 16, Resolution 2011-22, a resolution to adopt a debt policy as required by the Tennessee State Funding Board.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed, motion carries. Number 17. All right. This is a resolution, 2011-23, a resolution to accept Woodsong subdivision, sections 1, 2, and 3, received an unfavorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on September the 27th, 2011. Now, as we stated in the workshop, the reason it received an unfavorable recommendation, there was some items that needed to be cleaned up, and I think, Kyle, you're supposed to get back with us tonight to let us know if those have been taken care of.
Yes, Mayor and Board, the 4 technical items that they had at the Planning Commission workshop that I guess made them receive the unfavorable was they were all taken care of with the remainder, but with the exception of 2, and that sounds like it's half of them, but it is, but it's stuff that needs to be taken care of basically as this board accepts, like the irrevocable letter of dedication. That's something that basically gives us the improvements free of liens and anything like that. That needs to be done after the acceptance to get recorded. So it's something that as you accept it, they'll need to take this document to get recorded, and I would suggest maybe a 15-day time period that gets done or something like that. The other thing was the letter of credit. He's already got a letter of credit in place that will expire in April of 2012. Done received information from the bank and stuff like that they are willing to extend this letter of credit for maintenance purposes that he needs to do to complete this. However, they need a couple of days after the acceptance to get that to us. So both of these items, I think, are taken care of. It's just a matter of this board accepting it and then maybe putting in place like a motion, and Bruce and Evan may be able to help a motion to accept if that is the will of the board. subject to the developer taking care of the final 2 items in a 15-day time period or something like that, within 15 days.
Okay. Does everybody understand that? And with this letter of credit, that's also if there's some things that need to be completed or comes about, that letter of credit will cover it within a year.
Yes, it will cover maintenance issues within a year. So what would happen if something happened to the street, a pothole or let's say even a manhole lid or something that gets broken, I will contact the developer to let him know it needs to be fixed. Within this year time frame, he will fix that. If he does not, then this letter of credit, I can contact the bank and say, developer is refusing to pay for this. So I want to call on the amount that's necessary to fix it, and that should take care of it. But that will be a 1-year time frame. Once this 1 year is up, the letter of credit will expire, and after that year time frame, it's all the cities at that point.
And you're comfortable completely with all this? I think
Yes,
you are comfortable.
I've received information from all departments that went out to look, the stormwater, streets, water, and sewer, and their items are complete. As far as the as-built plans, he submitted as-built plans to what we require. He's done an electronic version. He's done everything we've asked of him to complete, so I'm comfortable.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for what Kyle said.
Okay.
Can't repeat all that.
Okay, so what we're doing is a motion to accept
Whatever Kyle
with a
said.
time frame of
15 days.
15 days. Did you get all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Giving him 15 days to have the letter of credit, et cetera, et cetera.
Letter of credit. They need to have the letter of credit in place within 15 days, and they also need to have the irrevocable letter of dedication approved as deformed by the city attorney and recorded.
Okay.
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, would y'all like for Ruth to read that back before we take a vote? Okay? Everybody
think we
comfortable?
are.
Everybody understand? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution 2011-24, a resolution to accept Brookside subdivision, Phase 1, received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on September the 27th, 2011. At this gesture, we've already called in the letters of credit. The roads have been done. At this point, we have no relationship whatsoever with the builders. Or developers. They're gone. So at this point, we've got our money. The roads are paved. So,
Motion to accept.
all right. I have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 2011-25, a resolution to accept Cedar Grove Estates, Section 1 and 2, received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on September the 27th, 2011. Same with Cedar Grove. We've called in all of our letters of credit. The roads have been paved. So at this point, there is no further relationship with the developers. So do I have a motion?
To accept.
I have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 20, motion to approve a proposal for engineering services from Griggs and Maloney for the Waldron Road Pump Station project. We discussed this in great detail at the workshop. This is something we've got to have. So do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Do I have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 21, motion to approve a proposal for engineering services from Griggs and Maloney to extend the 24-inch water main from the roundabout on Stones River Road to the water treatment plant. Okay, again, we had great discussion on this. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 22, motion to approve a one-year contract extension for the water treatment plant operations agreement with Severn Trent Services.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Do I have any questions?
I'll go along with this, but I'd like next year to look at maybe taking the water treatment plant back ourselves. I don't feel like it's time that we can do it right now.
No, we can't right now.
But I'd like for the city to eventually go back to running it instead of contracting everything out.
Any other comments? Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the one-year contract. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion carries. Number 23, motion to adopt the TDOT Local Government Guidelines, Form 1 and 2, entitled Consultant Selection Policy for Projects Funded in whole or in part with the funds provided by the Federal Highway Administration or the Tennessee Department of Transportation.
Would you read that again?
I know, that was a mouthful. Once again, we want grants, we want money, we fill it out. If we don't accept it. It's that simple.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any questions?
This is just something we have to deal with when dealing with the government.
Yes, sir. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are down to our Alderman, Mayor and Alderman comments, and I'll start with you, Alderman Green.
I don't really have anything, I don't think.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I want to thank all the employees for their help at Old Timers Festival.
They did an awesome job. Alderman Waldron?
October is Fire Prevention Safety Month. Check smoke detectors, batteries, make them working properly, and keep the Ward family and the Walker family in our prayers. And it's time to check the wood burning stoves too, since it's Fire Prevention Month. Give me. Make sure your chimneys and stuff is clean. And that's it.
Alderman Broker?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to thank Rich Long and the Laverne Garden Club for cleaning up outside City Hall. They're going to continue to work every couple months, or every couple weeks, excuse me, on some beautification projects. I think they did a great job. Also, parts of Parks and Rec Advisory came out and helped them, so thank you to them. And I guess I just want to welcome Greg and Kristen and Jeff, and welcome aboard. And again, that's some more great leaders. So.
I agree. All right. I'm going to expand on the thanks to our garden club, to extend my thanks not only to Rich Long, but to Alderman Broker, who was out here as well, Tony Vanetta, Ivy Hogan, Laura Davidson, and Sarah Smith. So this crew got out here and spent not just 30 minutes, they spent the whole afternoon donating time and materials to clean, and it looks wonderful. So we want to thank everybody who did that. Very good job. I can't say enough about Old Timers Day. It was great. Thanks again to all the employees, the Parks and Rec, the advisory board. We had a lot of people donating time. It was great. Great job. Thank y'all. Also remember, again, our chief and his family right now that does have a sick father, so please remember them in your prayers. It's a great month. We've got a lot of things going. Trail of Treats, the last Saturday of the month, which is 29th. Don't forget that. We all have a great time out there. So remember that, and employees, we're very, very proud of you. Thank you for everything that you do. And Mr. Mayor, you have anything?
Yes, ma'am. I had a couple things. First of all, I want to point out that tomorrow will be the start of Advanced Incident Command Training. This will be completing a group of 30 of our employees who will be taking this highest level of nationally accredited incident command training, to add to about the 30 that are already that have already completed that in the city. We've got, I think, one of the only cities in Tennessee that have 100% on introductory incident command training. So we're really moving forward and getting ready for the next big event and big incident, next big flood. Whenever that may happen, we'll have a lot of leadership that will be up and down through the lines. Second thing, October 29th, there's going to be a, they call it Operation Clean Sweep, and it's a turn-in of unused or expired prescription medications. It'll happen here at City Hall on the 29th, which is a Saturday, and everybody's going to see one of these in their water bill this month, reminding them about the operation and giving them details about their unexpired drugs or unused medicine. And the grant is granted. It was funded. They actually funded stuffing these envelopes with this piece of paper, so it's completely taken care of. So encourage everybody, kind of a day to bring down those items that they don't no longer need. And also, I'd like to add my thanks for Old Timers Festival and the support of the board for a lot of the decisions we had to make and the effort to bring this to a 3-day festival. And we've received a whole lot of good comments, and I think we have we've established a lot of goodwill and a lot of requests to do it again next year.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I call this meeting adjourned.